Hi guys, so today I am making name tags for lunch bowls because there's 9 of them, and as you can see, some of the plates like this one are incredibly unique, but these 2 are the same. There are 3 of these and there are 2 of these. And almost everybody, not everybody, but almost everybody gets medication. So I decided what I'm gonna do is make and laminate name tags that I can put in front of the bowls, because sometimes, because I'm not perfect, I get confused after the bowls are filled as to whose bowl is whose. So I figured the best way to handle this situation and make sure that I'm not giving anybody the wrong medication is to make name tags. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to laminate the name tags so they can be used over and over and over again. You know what I mean? I was getting lunch today and I was like, oh my goodness, the bowls are so similar. And I know that I'm a little bit scatterbrained and that I get easily confused. So I thought, all right, I need to find a way to handle this to make sure that I don't give anybody the wrong medication. Most of them take supplements, so it wouldn't hurt another dog to take it, but it would hurt that dog not to get their supplements. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't take supplements for no reason. They take supplements for a reason. So we're going to make some name tags. So I just want to tell you guys how I handle being an airhead and stress. So what we're going to do is we're going to start filling them out with their names. So we have Shiloh. And then we have, I always do the 3 little ones. For whatever reason, I have a system in my head of how I identify the dogs. You know what I mean? Like an order that I always go in when I'm naming them. Hey, relax for a second, please. Chuggy. And it's not exactly the order that they came in, but it's pretty close. Chuggy! We're very talkative right now because we want lunch. I was starting to get lunch, and then I came up with this idea of name tags. This is a little bit thick, so we're going to cut a little bit of this off because it'll make it easier to laminate them with tape. So some of these ones... Chuggy! Do you see what happens with my lunch demon? Yeah, this is my lunch demon right here. And she is a piece of work. Okay, Shiloh... Chuggy! Sorry. She is very chatty when she wants her lunch. All right, so we've got... How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... We have 6. So there's 3 more. All right, who's next? Kobe, Bingo, and Oreo. Okay, there's Kobe. And then we've got Bingo. Sorry. She is a chatty girl. Chuggy! That's enough. I'm getting it. Chuggy does not like to wait, especially when it comes to lunchtime. Chuggy is a lunch demon. She gets crazy at lunchtime. All right, I think this is 9. I think I've got everybody. Let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now we have to laminate them because often... Chuggy! Stop! Yes, stop. I'm getting it. Relax. A lot of times the counter's wet or the food gets slopped. So if I don't laminate them, I'll only be able to use them once or twice. And then they will be useless. So we're going to take a piece of tape for each one. And we're going to... Hold on. I gotta put this on here so that I can fold it over and close it. And then I will cut the excess off. This is how I've decided I'm going to... Of course, it would have been nicer if I had lined it up a little better, but that's okay. As long as it seals, it'll be fine. So we're just going to seal this up. And there is the first one. And then we're just going to cut off a little bit of the excess. I have a laminating machine. And I think I even have laminating sheets, but I don't have time to find everything right now because as you can hear, Chuggy is not chilling when it comes to lunch. Chuggy is a lunch demon. Shiloh! All right, there's number one, Oreo. Now I got to do the rest. So anyway, this was my solution to being scatterbrained and not wanting to give the wrong dog the wrong medication. So we are just making some name tags. We're going to make them a little smaller so they fit on the tape a little better. All right, there's Bingo. And the good thing about encasing them in tape is that even if it gets wet, it'll still be able to be used the next time. So we're just going to do this for all of them while listening to my little lunch demon. That's what I call her, the lunch demon. Oh, I got, all right. I don't know why I doubled the paper, just because I can, I guess. I don't know. Chuggy, what is your problem, huh? What are we talking about? Chuggy is the most vocal dog I have ever owned. I've never had a dog that talks as much as Chuggy does. She talks about everything. If someone is in her way, she tells me about it. If she's hungry, she tells me about it. If she wants a bone, she tells me about it. If she wants to go outside, even if the doors are open, she'll tell me about it first, and then she'll go outside. She is incredibly talkative and very vocal and talks all the time. And there's Bingo's name tag. I may have to upgrade at some point and like pull out the laminating machine, which maybe I'll work on later today when I find everything. But at least this way I'll have name tags until I get them, you know, done a little nicer. But this will work on a temporary basis. Now, oops, we got to cut Chuggy's down a little bit. It's a little too thick. All right, so now we're going to put that right there and center it. All right, there we go. Now let me get this piece of paper. I don't know why I doubled the paper, maybe to make it a little thicker, but you know what I should do on the permanent ones is put a piece of cardboard under there, like a thin piece of cardboard, you know what I mean? So that it's a little thicker and a little harder to lose. All right, there's Chuggy's. So anyway, I'm just sharing this with you guys because if you have a problem or you know something about yourself, like a lot of people say I'm just disorganized or I'm scatterbrained, but you know what? If you know that about yourself, then you should do things to make sure that you don't make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? We all have, I don't want to say disabilities, but we all have things about us that make our lives harder. And you can make that less of a problem in your life by knowing yourself, knowing that about yourself, whatever your issue is, and then doing something to make life easier. And that's what I try to do. I know that I am scatterbrained. I know that if I don't do something, like especially with 9 bowls on the counter, because I've made that mistake before, where I've given somebody the wrong food. So I know that about myself, and in order to make my life easier and less stressful, I come up with these little solutions rather than making excuses and saying, well, I'm just scatterbrained. That's just who I am. You're going to have to deal with it. I don't want that. I don't want to make excuses for myself. Do you know what I mean? So I try to come up with solutions, simple solutions that will make my, you know, the things about me that are not the best, like being scatterbrained, a little less likely to cause damage to somebody else. And giving the dogs the wrong medication can, in fact, cause damage. So in order to mitigate that, these are the kinds of little things that I do to try to, limit the damage that my scatterbrainness caused, because I know I'm a scatterbrained person. And I know that I make a lot of mistakes. So I do try to like come up with solutions that will make my life a little easier and less likely to cause anybody harm. So this is one of those little solutions that I just came up with as I was looking at all these bowls, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, what if I give somebody the wrong medication? And so this is what I came up with. So anyway, I just want to encourage you guys, if you have something about yourself that makes life a little more difficult for you or for other people, rather than using it as an excuse, come up with a solution. Come up with something that will mitigate whatever it is about you that makes life harder. Do you know what I mean? Because that makes your life better and easier, but it also makes those around you a little better. Oops, I really got this one skewed, but that's okay. Like I said, these are just the temporary tags. I'm going to try to pull out the laminating machine sometime this week, along with the laminating sheets, and get permanent name tags that are a little neater than these made, but for, you know what, for the time being, these will do. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. You don't have to sit here and watch me make all the tags, but anyway, have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.